अनंत संसार समुद्रतार नौकायिताभ्यां गुरुभक्तिदाभ्यां वैराग्य साम्राजद पूजनाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां कुंडलिकुमारी कुटिले चंडी चराचर सवित्री चामुंडे गुणिनी गुहारिणि गुह्ये गुरुमूर्ते त्वां नमामि कामाक्षी गुरुमूर्ते त्वां नमामि कामाक्षी अखिल जगन्मातो मां तमसा तापेन च आकुलानस्मान् अनुगृह्णातनुकम्पात् सुधार्द्रया हसितचन्द्रिकया कारणपरचिद्रूपा काञ्चीपुरसीम्नि कामपीठगता काचन विहरति करुणा काश्मीरस्तबककोमलाङ्गलता नमस्ते नमस्ते महादेव शम्भो नमस्ते नमस्ते दयापूर्ण सिन्धो नमस्ते नमस्ते प्रपन्नात्मबन्धो नमस्ते 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 महेशा नमस्ते 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 महेशा बोलो जगन माता की जय। बोलो सच्चिदानंद स्वरूप सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। All glories to the Divine Mother in the unmanifest and the manifest form. The manifest form being the Guru himself, and the unmanifest being the foundation or the basis upon which this entire creation rests. All glories to the Divine Mother. Continuing on with our Bhakti series, we discussed how Bhakti or the devotional sentiment is nectar-like, is nothing but love, the ultimate love. It makes us completely content. It makes us siddha. It makes us self-dependent. Narad Rishi goes on to describe how does a parabhakt, how does a person who has attained bhakti or devotion, how does such a person go around doing what he's supposed to do in his life, in his worldly affairs? What are his attitudes? How does he look at karma? How does he look at actions? He describes principally two attitudes towards life. One is ananyata, The other one is udasinata. Ananyata, as we discussed last time, is saying, Mother, you alone exist. And if I need something, if I want something, if I want an answer, any desire I may have, any emotion I may experience, any thought I may have, is all going to be directed towards you. Because I have come to realize that you alone are listening, you alone exist, you alone care. So that is ananyata, the attitude wherein no matter what expression of the mind happens outwardly, all of those expressions are directed towards the Isht. Ananyata bhav. And then the other bhav that he describes, the other attitude, the other sentiment he describes is that of udasinata. Udasinata is indifference. There are many colors in the world, in the creation. There are many colors. Some are pleasing to the mind, some are not. Some of the situations, some of the actions we get into may not be pleasing. Or some of the actions other people are doing may not be pleasing. So instead of judging, Narad Rishi says, be indifferent. Have no opinion about it. Just be indifferent. Because remember, the show must go on. This show of creation, we are just looking at one part of the puzzle with our limited mind. The mind, being absolutely limited in its existence, can never experience expansive existence. Hence, looking at things, looking at situations, looking at occurrences, looking at people with our limited view always results in judgment. Hence, Narad Rishi says, be udasin, indifferent. So then he describes under what situations should you be indifferent, and what situations you should not be indifferent, let's say. So then he says, Loka Veda Vyaparan Nyasaha. Nyas is to take on. Loka Veda Vyapar. Vyapar is transactions. Our worldly affairs are all transactional. So he's saying, he's guiding us as to how developing parabhakti. How do we get involved in our worldly transactional affairs? Which is why he first explains, understand what's ananyata, and then understand what's udasinata. And then Loka Veda Vyapar. There are two types of transactions we get into. The worldly transactions of people, situations, work, scenarios, the worldly transactions. And then there is Veda Vyapar, wherein we take up pujas, yagyas, homas, all of those. So he says, as you take on, which is nyasaha, as you take on Loka Veda Vyapar, be firmly rooted in two bhavs. One, ananyata. Second, udasinata. So let us first understand how to take up ananyata. Actually, before we take up how to take up these attitudes, let's first try to understand the real essence of Loka Veda Vyapara Nyasaha. What exactly does he mean? If a person has to do, let's say, 100 things in a day, 100 little tiny acts in a day, then the chances of him being mindful, him or her being mindful in all of those 100 tasks is going to be a little slim. Let's say if that person simplifies his acts, his number of acts to maybe 50. He cuts down the acts to 50. The chances of him being mindful in those 50 acts goes up a little bit. If he further simplifies it to 25, his chances of being mindful, operating out of his being, go up significantly. So that is the first thing we need to understand. Loka Veda Vyapara Nyasaha. Before Nyasa is to take on. Before we take on newer things to do, let us first contemplate and take a hard look at things that we are already doing and see how many of those are kartavya karma. How many of those are nitya karma? And apart from these two, if we have accumulated a lot of kamya karma, then that is where simplification begins. We need to simplify our acts, the number of our acts, by filtering out the kamya karma, not the kartavya or the nitya karma. And this is something which is why these are sutras, because in each sutra is a lot of hidden knowledge. This is something we all have to take a hard look at our own lives. Forget about lives, take a hard look at our own day and see how from the moment we wake up to the time we go to sleep, how is our day? How many acts have we accumulated for ourselves? How many are unnecessary and can be dropped off? How many of those are absolutely needed because they are coming out of swadharma, kartavya? And how many of those are nitya karma? The nitya and the kartavya karma need to be held on to. The ones that are just draining our energies because they are kamya karma need to be dropped. So this is where Narad Rishi says you have to bring in indifference and ananyata. The karmas that we absolutely need to do, that there is no way around it. Or if by dropping those, the mind will get into a restless state, such karmas we have to do with the ananyata bhav. Prataruthaya sayahnam sayahnat pratarevatu yat karomi jaganmatah tadeva tava pujanam tadeva tava pujanam. From the moment I wake up to that moment when I go to sleep, everything that I do, O Divine Mother, let it be your puja. Accept it lovingly as your puja. But for this to take effect, we need to simplify our daily actions from 100 to at least 50. And by the grace of the Divine Mother, it will come back to 25. But if we are taking on things or actions that are just draining our energies, kamya karma, that's where those are the karmas we need to drop. Not by dropping nitya and the kartavya karma, by dropping the kamya karma. So Narad Rishi says, towards the kamya karma, be indifferent. Because those kamya karmas, a pile-up of karma, which is called karma lampat, Divine Mother's name is Rama Ramana Lampata. Ramana is Atma Raman, or being absorbed in your own self, being absorbed in the memories of your Isht, being absorbed in the remembrance of the sweet names of your Isht. That is Ramana. And Mother's name is Ramana Lampata. Ramana Lampata as in the Divine Mother blesses us with that sweetness in remembrance. That we just remember her, we think about her, we revel in her bhakti. That state is Ramana Lampata. But before that state arrives, we have to come out of Karma Lampat. Karma Lampat is to be absorbed in action all the time by constantly doing. If we are constantly doing, the chances of us experiencing the being become slim to none, because we are so involved in doing. Hence, Narad Rishi says, Loka Veda Vyapara Nyasaha Nirodha Rupatvat. Before you take on more karmas, before you take on more things to do, develop udasinata. Because continuous actions take us away from the prema bhakti. And then he says, how do you decide which karmas to take on and which to drop? He says it's as simple as, is this karma going to lead me to parabhakti? Is this karma going to lead me to that amrita swarupacha, that parama prema rupa? And if the answer is yes, do it. Which is why the ananyata bhav, that Mother, you alone exist and I am doing this for you. If you are at work, this is your workplace, Mother. You are the ultimate boss. I work for you. Everything I do here is for you. And whatever is done for her becomes her puja. And then, Prataruthaya sayahnam sayahnat pratarevatu yat karomi jaganmataha tadeva tava pujanam. And in that state we are able to be a little bit more mindful in performing our actions. And when we are mindful, that's when those are the actions that become puja. But to be mindful, we have to be indifferent to the huge list of to-do things that we pile on for no good reason. Which is why it is important to simplify. The one who lives in a huge house has the entire house to first fill up with furniture. Then the furniture needs to be maintained. Then the continuous maintenance. Then if they are in one room, they're worried about cleaning up the other room. While they're in the other room, they're worried about cleaning up the outside. What about the landscape? What about this? What about that? So if the mind is continuously engaged in doing, then being goes to the back seat. So Narad Rishi says, before you take on more things to do, simplify. Take a hard look at everything you do all day and see how many things can be just cut out. Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. Asanga shastrena. With that axe of vairagya. Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. Be firm. Take a firm resolve and cut down all the unnecessary movements of your energy. Whatever it is, it's something we all have to do it for our own personal sake. For our own personal growth, we have to take a hard look at our life. Some people are workaholics. which is okay. But how much of it is absolutely necessary? Because if the last moment were to come in an hour, which bhav do you want to harbor within to let go? So someone who has 1,000 works piled on in the to-do list, such a person, if you just watch, they're ever in a hurry to get to the next. In that compulsive mode, there is no consciousness, there is no mindfulness, and those actions are binding because those actions are not puja. Hence, Narad Rishi says, simplify, simplify, simplify. Kari vichar taji vikar, bhaj udar Ramachandra, bhadra sindhu dina bandhu, veda vadatare. Veda vadatare. Kari vichara tyaji vikara. It's only by contemplation. It's only by taking a pause we will realize how much of our actions are just using up the precious energy given by the Divine Mother to walk the spiritual path. Hence, take a hard look. The actions can further be divided into subsections. Conversations, if you take up as an action, how many conversations in a day start off? After they start off, they slowly become have to. I have to contact this person every day. I have to do this every day. Initially, it starts off as just a casual thing, and then these conversations become compulsive. So, a conscious act of let me call this person today or let me text this person today, a conscious action slowly over time lacks consciousness, lacks mindfulness, and becomes a compulsive behavior. These are the spots that drain, that become drains of energies. These are where we need to be extremely mindful. Kari vichar tyaji vikar. Conversations. Cleaning. Some people are OCD, obsessive compulsive about cleaning. Because to them, they can never reach a state wherein, okay, this is enough. Initially, it all starts off as a conscious action. You choose to clean. And then it becomes a have to. I have to clean. I have to. Those have tos are compulsions. Cooking. Whether you cook a 15-course meal or whether you cook simple food needed to survive, it depends on consciousness or compulsiveness. If you're conscious and mindful, you will cook as much as is necessary. Every once in a while, maybe you'll take up extra cooking, but most of your days is just as much as needed. Conscious cooking. Similarly, working. To put in extra hours is a conscious decision. Let it always be a conscious decision and not out of compulsion. Because then one fine day, when the breath is going to be the last breath, It won't matter how many extra hours we have put in. What's going to matter is how conscious we were throughout the day, throughout our lives. How conscious of the presence of our Isht within were we before taking up new tasks. Hence, Narad Rishi says, simplify, simplify, simplify. Simplify your day. Before you and I existed, the world carried on just fine. All the actions were happening just fine. After we entered into the picture and we started doing our little bit, the world is still carrying on. We might feel the compulsive behavior of the mind saying, I have to. But if you and I were to drop dead at this moment, the have tos will disappear and the work will continue to happen. Knowing thus, Narad Rishi says, simplify, simplify, simplify. Simplify everything. Loka Veda Vyapara Nyasaha. Even the Vedic karmas, the karmas that you take up, I'm going to do a Rudrabhishek so that I may gain more money in my business. That is a Kamya karma. That is for Ichha Purti. Narad Rishi says, such karmas will take you away from Parama Prema Rupa, will take you away from Prem Bhakti. Because in that Prem Bhakti there are no desires. There is just love. A person who is a Bhakt, when he does puja, versus a person who is not a Bhakt doing a puja, even offering flowers by a Bhakt can be as mrudu, as gentle and delicate as offering soft flowers at the lotus feet of the Lord. When the Bhakt does Avahan, there are no questions in his mind that whether my God has come or not. My Lord within is so close to me, I can barely see him. So I'm going to invite him to come into this Vigraha or this picture, and I'm going to fill my eyes with his form, decorate him or her, be in his company, sing his glories. Such is the view of a Bhakt. A non-Bhakt that has taken up Kamya Karma, Loka Veda Vyapara Nyasa, the one who has taken up Veda Vyapar. Okay, I'm going to offer these red flowers to you, give me this in return. That's Veda Vyapar. Such a person cannot experience Prema Bhakti. Such a person offers those flowers like he's throwing stones at the Lord. There is no conviction that my Isht has indeed come from within me to give me darshan. My Isht is indeed enjoying my company. My Isht is indeed enjoying all this I'm doing to my Isht. Veda Vyapar. Because Naradiya Bhakti is all about Prem, Parama Prema Rupa, is all about that supreme divine love. Lord Krishna in Bhakti Yoga says, 4 types of people come to me. Arth, Artharthi, Jignasu and Jnani. They are all dear to me. But Naradiya Bhakti, Narad Rishi says, this Bhakti, Athato Bhakti Vyakhyanam. Now I'll expound the Parabhakti to you. Parabhakti has nothing to do with desires. There are no desires left. You do everything for your Isht out of love. So Veda Vyapara Nyasaha, Nirodha Rupatvad. So he's saying, be udasin, be indifferent to all of the kamya karma, whether in the laukik achar vichar, whether in the worldly affairs or whether in religious affairs. Be indifferent to the kamya karma. Be indifferent to desire-driven actions. Whatever is your kartavya, do it in the most simple way possible, which is what we discussed in our group yesterday about ease. When you find your body rushing through work, take a deep breath and go back to being easy. Take it easy. Go slow. Let every action be conscious, not compulsion. Lokaveda Vyaparanyasah. Before you take on Vedic karmas or Laukik karmas, whether you take on worldly affairs or religious affairs, ask yourself, is this action going to bring me closer to Prema Bhakti, to that divine love? Or is it going to put me in a whirlpool of karmas and make me forget my Isht? And then choose your actions. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Jagan Mata, Pahimam, Pahimam, Pahimam.